Once upon a time, there was a man and woman named John and Ruth. They were happily in love. They got married and after 2 years decided to have their first child. It was a girl. They named her Maya. John and Ruth loved Maya. They showered her with toys and did everything for her. Not only did her parents shower her with love and gifts, her grandparents did too. She was their first grandchild, so they spoiled her with cookies, presents, and loving attention. After a few years of having her family and the whole world to herself, her parents announced that they were pregnant with a second child. Mia at first was overwhelmed with excitement with this news. After all, she had so many used baby dolls and she thought that she was getting another toy. 9 months later, a baby girl was born. They named her Amanda. Mia at first thought Amanda was amazing and was so happy with her arrival. Not soon after, Mia realized that she wasn't getting as much attention from her parents. She did not like this at all. Even her grandparents weren't paying attention to her. She linked this loss of attention to Amanda. Amanda was stealing all the attention from her parents and her grandparents. Mia began to develop a hatred towards Amanda. At home, Amanda would unknowingly pick up one of Mia's toys. Mia got angry and claimed that it was her toy, and she quickly stole it back from Amanda. This caused Amanda to cry. She didn't know why Mia would take her toy from her. This happened quite frequently in their house. Mia began to hit Amanda when she stole her toys. Her parents punished her for being so mean to Amanda. Mia didn't know why she was being punished for fighting for what was hers. She just wanted to keep her toys to herself. A few years later, Mia started school. She didn't like school at first, and she would have rather been home with her parents. She also didn't like that there were so many students and only one teacher. She never got any of the teachers' attention and struggled trying to find friends. She began to succeed at school. She was always getting top marks in her classes. She brought home good grades, and her mom would be proud of them and hang them on the fridge. Mia began to try to put all she had into her schoolwork so that she could come home with good grades to show her parents. Soon, John and Ruth had another baby girl. They named her Zoe. Zoe was born with only half a heart, or technically only 3 chambers of a heart. This meant that she was in the hospital a lot, especially being a newborn. This caused John and Ruth to be out of the house a lot. Whenever Zoe had to stay at the hospital, one of them would stay with her. Mia didn't like this. Her parents were always gone, and they were never home at the same time. Mia didn't like this. She missed her parents and was not amused with the babysitters that were at home with her. Amanda was okay. She missed not having her parents home all the time, but she was happy and loved playing with the different babysitters. A few years later, Zoe could live at home out of the hospital as long as she went back for regular checkups to check up her heart. John and Ruth finally had their last child. Another girl, they named her Skylyn. Skylyn wasn't spoiled at all. Her parents had enough to deal with Zoe. She learned how to do things on her own because of this, and she couldn't rely on her parents for everything. Years later, Mia is now in college. She got a full scholarship for her good grades and was the valedictorian of her class her senior year. She is learning to become a doctor. Amanda is a junior who excels in sports. She plays basketball, tennis, and volleyball. She made it to all the varsity teams. Because she is so good at sports, she doesn't have much time to study. Her grades aren't as good as her sister's, and she is jealous of her. Zoe had surgery to correct her heart and is now healthy for the most part. Zoe excels in theater. She is a great singer and actress. Skylin felt like she was just average compared to her sisters. She began to express her feelings of resentment and jealousy in poems and small drawings. She eventually became very good. She had found her niche. All the sisters learned to love what they were gifted at and enjoyed doing. They stopped being jealous of the other sisters. They eventually worked things out between each other, and they realized they were all jealous of one another. They praised each other for their gifts and talents. Each of the sisters moved apart, but still kept in touch with phone calls, texts, emails, and even letters. Even though the sisters are very different, they learned to get along and be happy with the gifts that God gave them.